Imagine a world where a scratch from a rose bush could kill you, where pneumonia was a death sentence, where soldiers didn't die from bullets, but from the infections that followed. This was life before antibiotics, and the discovery that changed everything, the discovery that saved hundreds of millions of lives, almost never happened. It began with a messy lab, a forgotten petri dish, and a scientist who went on vacation. Welcome back to Scientific Career. This is episode 5 of our 10-episode journey through the history of the pharmaceutical and biotechnology industries. Today, we explore the antibiotic revolution, the moment medicine finally gained the power to fight back. Let's begin. Before the 20th century, bacterial infections were among the leading causes of death worldwide. Pneumonia, tuberculosis, syphilis, sepsis. Even a small cut could turn deadly. Doctors had no reliable way to stop bacteria once they entered the body. Humanity needed a breakthrough. In 1928, Alexander Fleming returned from vacation to find something unusual in his lab. A petri dish had been contaminated by a blue-green mold. But instead of ruining the experiment, the mold had created a clear zone where bacteria couldn't grow. Fleming realized the mold, Penicillium notatum, produced a substance that killed bacteria. He named it penicillin. But Fleming couldn't purify it, stabilize it, or manufacture it. His discovery was brilliant, but unusable. The world wasn't ready for antibiotics yet. 10 years later, a team at Oxford, Howard Florey, Ernst Chain, and Norman Heatley, revisited Fleming's forgotten research. They purified penicillin. They tested it. They proved it worked. But they faced a new challenge. How do you produce enough penicillin to save lives? Their small lab could only make tiny amounts. They needed industrial power. This is where the pharmaceutical industry stepped into history. During World War II, infections were killing more soldiers than bullets. Wound infections, pneumonia, and sepsis were devastating armies. The Allies urgently needed a medical advantage. Companies like Pfizer, Merck, and Squibb developed new fermentation technologies, deep tank fermentation, that allowed penicillin to be produced on an industrial scale. This was a turning point. Pharmaceutical companies became innovation engines. Large-scale fermentation became a core capability. Drug manufacturing shifted from chemistry to biology. Governments and industry collaborated at unprecedented levels. By D-Day in 1944, the Allies had enough penicillin for every wounded soldier. Germany and Japan did not. Penicillin didn't win the war, but it gave the Allies a major medical advantage. It reduced deaths from infected wounds. It prevented amputations. It cured pneumonia and STIs that sidelined troops. It kept divisions at full strength. It saved tens of thousands of lives during the Normandy invasion, the Italian campaign, and the Pacific Island battles. For the first time in history, infection was no longer the biggest killer on the battlefield. Penicillin transformed medicine almost overnight. Suddenly, doctors could cure pneumonia, syphilis, gonorrhea, strep infections, wound infections, sepsis. Diseases that had terrified humanity for centuries became treatable. Life expectancy rose. Surgery became safer. Childbirth became safer. Infection stopped being a death sentence. This was one of the greatest medical revolutions in history. After penicillin, the race was on. Between the 1940s and 1960s, pharmaceutical companies discovered entire new classes of antibiotics. Streptomycin, the first cure for tuberculosis. Tetracyclines, macrolides like erythromycin, cephalosporins, aminoglycosides, vancomycin. This era turned pharmaceutical companies into global scientific leaders. It also created the modern research and development model, screening thousands of natural compounds, large-scale fermentation, early clinical trials, international collaboration, rapid drug development pipelines. The antibiotic boom shaped the industry we know today. But even in the early years, scientists noticed something alarming. Bacteria were adapting. Some strains became resistant. New antibiotics were needed constantly. This challenge, antibiotic resistance, is one of the greatest threats to modern medicine. But that story belongs to a future episode. The antibiotic revolution teaches us that breakthroughs often come from unexpected places, accidents, persistence, and global collaboration. It also shows how pharmaceutical companies evolved from small chemical manufacturers into research-driven powerhouses capable of saving millions of lives. Antibiotics didn't just change medicine, they changed the world. If you want to keep learning about the incredible world of medicine and build the skills to thrive in one of the fastest-growing industries on the planet, make sure you like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to ScientificCareer. Your journey in science and healthcare is just beginning, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. But the story doesn't end here, because just as antibiotics were transforming medicine, a new scientific revolution was quietly beginning. A revolution that would reveal the blueprint of life itself. A revolution that would turn biology into technology. A revolution that would give scientists the power to read, edit, and engineer DNA. In the next episode, we enter the age of molecular biology, the discovery of DNA, the birth of genetics, and the breakthroughs that set the stage for biotechnology. Episode 6, The DNA Revolution, How We Unlocked the Code of Life. Don't miss it.